Alright, so today is a pretty exciting video. We have data mined previews of the brand new Outpost Rush map, Coral Divide, which we will be getting apparently a preview of this season. But from the looks of it, the map actually looks very interesting, and I'm excited to talk about all the different aspects it has and what I think it's going to play like, some of the advantages and disadvantages of the map, and overall my thoughts and opinions, and how is this going to change the game effectively. So in terms of the overall map itself, it is a Coral Divide, and what I mean by that is there is a bunch of almost islandish bits with a lot of rocky terrain, but also a lot of dirt terrain, and it's very, I would say, sectioned off compared to the current Outpost Rush map with a lot of free area. I do still think this is going to be a ranged, a good ranged player map, and I'll talk about the points for that later. But as you can see in front of you, I'm going to be cycling through a bunch of screenshots and talking about the key points, such as spawns, where are the points, Baron, the portal, and all of that. And to start off with, I suppose we can jump onto the actual map itself. Now, this is quite a big file. It's almost 20,000 by 20,000 pixels, because I wanted to enhance it enough so we could get a really good view of what is going on. So, to start off with, we're going to jump onto the map here. So, as you can see, this is quite a nice looking map. It does use sort of the CK assets for the PvP island, etc., which I'm fine with. I think they look hella cool, and it is a good use of those assets to get an actual PvP map out of it that people play, rather than a free-for-all island. So, to start off with, you have this sort of central point, and then you have these sort of three islands, or three divisions, both on the east, south, and west, which is pretty cool. I like how that flows. And then up north, you have what appears to be the portal, and we will talk about the actual points and objectives in a sec here. But the general flow, in my opinion, of the map is very nice. Now, we don't know how the gameplay flow is going to be on the other hand, though, right? So, to start off with, again, you've got that central point with a hub, which seems like it's going to be the more Zergy ball-based PvP section. Then you've got the two southern points, then the two right points, which we will get onto here. So I suppose without further ado, after you've seen the sort of screenshot here, we can probably jump onto the objectives. So to start off with, spawn number 1. I'm going to hide some of these categories here so they're a little less big so we can focus on what's important. So we will jump onto this. So this over here on the right side, this rocky segment on the right, that is spawn number 1 or 2, depending on however you want to call it, is this side over here. This is the first player's spawn. The second player's spawn is over on the left side, like so. Which, in my opinion, this looks like a really, really covered and, I guess, sectioned off spawn compared to spawn 2 or spawn 1. It is much more open, so I don't really know how that's going to play yet. There are some areas here, by the way, just with the way I stitched together these images, there is a bit of a seam here because of, again, how I stitched the images and how it's at a bit of a different POV. Now, I didn't get these images myself. I have to thank the creator of New York Buddy for this, as he was able to extract them from the game files, and I much appreciate him for that. So, without further ado, we will jump onto the points. Sun, obviously, is going to be the center, more than likely. And this is confirmed. We do have confirmation. I am confident in all of these locations, unless they change the locations of these objectives based on feedback. But this is how it's set to be in the preview weekend that we get upcoming. We don't know when that's going to be, by the way. I, again, estimate mid-February. It could be sooner, it could be later. I really don't know. But from a design perspective, the map looks complete. I think what they're more saying it's a preview for is that while the map may visually be complete, the map is not gameplay complete. And I think there's going to be a lot of bugs, rather even exploits that come from this map. And that is why they might not want to push it to live straight away, which is fair enough. But that said, I hope this testing period goes on for more than just a weekend, because I don't think that's going to be long enough time to figure out all the kinks. As we know, the current Outpost Rush map, we have had a long time on it, almost 3 years, and we sometimes still discover new bugs and exploits, such as jumping up on the walls. But with that said, again, this is your central point inside a building, and we actually have a dedicated image for this as well, which looks pretty sneaky, or pretty snazzy. So right here, we have Inside Sun. You have, looks to be a storage, and you've got a tent, much like you do in the current OPR, where you can build up your tent, get your buff, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's going to be an active tent, because actually, no, you can't build tents in Sun, can you? I actually am having a brain fart there. I don't think you can build tents in Mid. I might be wrong on that. I can't remember. I'm banned from the game for 6 days. But you've got your storage shed. Over here looks like your shop, I believe. And then it looks like, again, you've got your central sun point here. And I like the vibe of this. It's actually a very clean vibe. And again, if we go back to the image here, it's sort of like, I'll hide this so it's a little bit more visible. It's sort of like, you've got, you know, three entries into the point. And you can even, looks like you can maybe even go up on top and get a vantage point down on side. So that might be very good if you're a ranged player, which I could see being a good, again, a good vantage point for ranged players. Melee players, I'm going to say it, I think melee players will, if they play their surroundings right, will play very well on this map. But I think this map is designed in a way to prevent Zergy gameplay. The way this map to me appears, it is very structured in the sense of, here's another screenshot here, we've got sort of the mini map layout. It is a very structured map in the sense of splitting players up to do small skirmishes rather than that Zergy main ball gameplay, which I do kind of like. So again, you've got spawn 1, spawn 2, and I suppose we can jump onto the other points real quick. So Sun, Astra, and Luna. Now, I don't know how I feel about the two placements of Luna and Astra. They're very close to each other, and not only that, it's a very interesting layout. It's almost like the star, right? You've got your two spawns. Sun's right there. I think Sun's in a great spot, very well center of the map, and it feels like there's going to be a lot of gameplay there. These two other points are very interesting to me, in the sense that this middle bit, I don't believe you can cross. There is a bridge here, and I believe that is the only way you can traverse to the other side. I might be wrong on that. There might be a path through these buildings, but as it stands, I believe these are buildings stacked on top of each other, and this is just a straight, death drop that you can't cross unless you go over the bridge. So that means the only way to get from Astra to Luna is through this here, or going right around, etc. But there are some other cool points that I want to talk about later on, such as these divides or these trenches that are very prominent, especially, of course, in the name of the map, the Savage Divide. As we know, they've talked about these sort of splits, these divides amongst the map, where you can build bridges, and I believe these bridges are bridges you can build and, give you new routes, new areas of access. And I think the fascinating thing about this is there is a lot of flank potential. It's almost not necessarily like a maze, but there's so many different vantage points and I guess areas of, ways you can get through certain areas. And in fact, this image here shows it really well. So you can sort of see like the, I guess, mini-map version of it. And if you go to the top here, there's actually a very good, perspective of it, right? So up here, we have the Corrupted Portal, where you get your Brute. Now, we don't know if they're going to be Brutes, Barons. They could be different AI that have the same functionality. We don't know. And that's something we're going to be previewing, right? So on top of that, again, there's these sort of outlines of these almost trenches, and they're absolutely everywhere. I'll zoom in again. But these trenches are absolutely everywhere under the map, almost like caves. And it's interesting. So I believe, and I truly believe this, that these are going to be almost like mines where you can farm your PvE resources, and it's going to play very interesting. But not only that, I believe they can be used as flanks to get new, go for flanks on your enemy and such, which could play very interesting. And again, promotes that sort of idea of this is more of a skirmish, small encounters map over a, almost like a tight space, rather than an open, wide Zergfest like the current OPR map. And I like that gameplay distinction, because instead of just having an open area like we currently do, it's actually going to fundamentally play entirely different, which gives you another way to play PvP. Because if we just had another OPR map that was open, it wouldn't really, change the dynamics. This really, I do believe, will change the dynamics massively. And you've noticed I've probably left one thing out. Where is Baron? Baron, I believe, is a cave below Sun. Now, this faint outline kind of hints at that, but it's kind of hard to see and which is why I want to leave it rather to rumor than to I actually know. But judging by this mini-map, it looks like even here there is almost like cave entrances that you can take to get inside the barren cave. Now again, I don't know how true that is. I want to leave that to rumor because I again have not played the map. But again, there's almost like an entranceway here as well from Corrupted Pit, which is pretty cool. So again, you've got Sun, you've got your 2 points down here, Astra and Luna, you've got Spawn 1, Spawn 2, and I just think overall this is pretty freaking sweet. It also looks like you might be starting out in a little bit of shallow water in Spawn 2, which I might have missed out there, so that is also pretty fascinating. Overall, visually the map actually looks pretty cool, even though it's not in engine. I am pretty happy about how it looks. Here's a really good screenshot of more of a low down angle where we can get a really nice view at it. So this is sort of how the map is structured, right? You've got sun, you've got almost like a cave. Again, actually this is a really good way to look at it. I do believe there might actually be a cave there. Now, some areas almost look unfinished, like there's a little bit of clipping here. And again, that is, I guess, why it is considered a preview. But as I mentioned, there is a lot of these divides, which I believe you will be able to run through and take advantage of flanking. You can almost see them here. Yes, so I was right. These are actually caves that you can enter. And again, there's even ramps leading up and down. I believe there's going to be water in these blank spots. That wasn't extracted data, so that isn't really relevant. But these are, again, all of these splits and sort of flanks, all these entrances, all these trenches that you can use to gain an advantage point on players. They've got your bridges to sun, which look very cool. And yeah, so it looks like you can't go from here. Actually, I don't know. So this is Astra, this is Luna. We can't really get a good look at Luna. Actually, I think it's Astra then Luna. But either way, Luna, Astra, doesn't matter. So it looks like there's almost like a few exits and entries. It looks like a way wider play space than the current Outpost Rush map for points. Other than Sun looks very tight, but these 2 points look very wide open, which is if you like that gameplay, you will be contesting these points a lot. So again, it looks like you've got a lot of like steers and everything as well, which as a range player, I do like those sort of tight spaces where I can take advantage of my projectile musket, right? And again, the thing why I also believe this is a preview map, and this is sort of jumping into my opinions on the map here, is I believe that the problem with this map, or the problems that will come with this map in the preview weekend, is there is a lot of vantage points I can already see as a musket player or a range player that people will be trying to glitch and get on top of, and is more or less what the developers want to squash, right? So there will be people trying to get on every single rock roof imaginable, especially as a range player, right, where a melee can't actually get you. And there's just going to be a whole mess of collision issues, which is why, again, it's most likely a preview weekend, as they want to figure out all these cheeses that players come up with. So, again, you've got all these different entries, all these different exits, and overall the map looks very cool. I think there is a lot of potential here for a very neat map. And, you know, I believe, actually, this team might start out swimming, you know. I haven't thought about that. This team could start out swimming. That would be rough. Actually, no, they might. This team spawns in swimming, and then there's the gates here. You can even see it, actually. So here are your gates. You can even see the gates of the spawn here. And it looks like there will be water here. And yeah, okay. That's interesting. So I believe whichever team spawns here will indeed be swimming. Fascinating. And it looks like to the portal pit, which is another thing I want to point out here, is, again, you've got these bridges, and I believe these are the bridges they mentioned you're going to be able to build and destroy, which sounds actually quite like a fun dynamic. There's, like, again, a lot of this sort of vertical gameplay that we don't have on the current OPR map, which is going to add a whole new interesting perspective to PvP, especially Outpost Rush PvP, which I think it could be very interesting. So I am looking forward to this. I want to know your thoughts, and I will leave the images down below as well for you guys to check out, as I do believe, you know, it might be better for you to check it out for yourself other than what I'm showing, because again, I'm not the greatest at displaying said images, but I truly believe that this could be a really good Outpost Rush map, and makes me wonder why they didn't tease this sooner with actual images. Maybe that was coming very soon. But, you know, I'm the one to break it, and I'm sure many other creators will also break the information to you rather than AGS themselves. That's good for me, I won't lie. But, yeah, I think it's a very cool looking map, man. I'm very excited. Once I'm out of my 6-day suspension, you know, we'll be back in there. It's got me a little bit excited, man. But yeah, I feel like in terms of actual release, it's probably a long way away. But it is a very interesting looking Outpost Rush map that I believe could play very well. Also just show the last 2 images here. So anyways, that is the Outpost Rush map, Coral Divide, as a data mine preview. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.